Hi everyone, welcome to another fortnightly workshop with me, Matt Stead. Today's is going to be kind of unusual but really exciting, hopefully. We're going to look at how to see music as colours. Something I'm really passionate about, and something I'm writing a book all about at the moment, which I'll share with you guys in a little bit. But just before we crack on with everything, let's just say hi to a few people. Come and say hi. Make sure you've got the live chat enabled today, guys, because I would love you guys to ask as many questions as you like, as well as kind of seeing what you'll make of this. It'd be great to get your feedback and see if this makes sense to you folks. Also, I'd love you to ask questions about it, see if you can understand more what I'm on about, basically, which will all be fantastic. Hi, Karen. Hi, Anthony. Hi, Wayne. I hope you're all doing well. You can still download your worksheets. They will look something like this, if I can find them. Where have they gone? I've lost my worksheets. Hang on, there they are. They were hiding underneath my live feed. They'll look something like this, and you can download them either from my Payhip for £5, or if you're one of my members, you get them for free as well. Di's saying she can't find the worksheet. Just make sure you're logged in, Di, and then go to the website learnukulele.com, and then click more. And you'll see a little members area there with the fortnightly worksheets on, and you can find them there. Or if you can just kind of watch the screen for today, Dan, what I can do is I can send you the PDF afterwards as well, so that's cool. Neil's got no cookers to fix this week, so he's made it. That's good. Good going. Hopefully you can have a nice hearty meal on your cooker afterwards. Thanks. Hi, Fran. Hi, Laura. Hi, Annie. Hope you're all doing well. Sunny Burgundy in France. I tell you what, it's it's a bit more like Laura's up in Scotland here today. It's very damp, very wet, but the frogs are enjoying it out in the pond, so that's good. Hi, Victoria. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, a bit of cheery uke. Fantastic. And sun's made Germany as well. Nice, Indrani. It's rainy in the south of France, rainy north of you, Indrani. You've right in the middle, in the perfect spot. Okay. Just before we dip in as well, to let you know, I've already planned a next fortnight sheet, so this is going to be 2 weeks today. I'm quite excited about this one as well, actually. We're going to look at Country Roads. Take Me Home, Country Roads. Everyone loves this song. Take me home, country roads, to the place I belong. What we're going to do is we're going to look at two very different versions. So first of all, we're going to look at the classic John Denver version, and I'm going to teach you a really nice country pick that you can use with all sorts of songs, and then we're going to look at the Brother Is version, which is completely different, and you think it would just be a different vibe. He's got this kind of nice island strum going on, which is really lovely, but actually more than that, he actually changes the chords, which is interesting, so I'll explain why and how, and the lyrics as well, so it gives it a whole different vibe. So we'll look at those two and see how different they are, and I'll teach you the island style and of course the lovely original as well. Just a reminder, still got a few places on the Spanish ukulele retreat if anyone's interested. This is on sale now, and me and Percy Copley and Matt Parkin are all going to be teaching you to play ukulele. Beautiful food, beautiful location. I mean, look at that view. You literally can see that from where we play. So come and join us if you're interested. All the details on the flyer, and it's on my website under the events page as well. Okay, right, let's have a look at our sheets then. I've lost them again. What have I done with those? They keep hiding. Oh, there they are. Okay, hang on. Let me just move them across so I can actually use them. That's better. I've got this big video on my monitor so I can see what you guys can see. And I keep losing things underneath it. There it is. Yeah, me too, Karen. John Denver's just absolutely brilliant, isn't he? Yeah. My cousin's getting married this May, next month actually, and he's asked me to play Annie's song at his wedding, so that should be fun. Oh, Neil, what did you make of Gaucine? I love it. It's a lovely little village. We're going whilst the art trail's on as well, so you can go around all the different houses and see all the brilliant art being made in real time, which is quite cool as well. Okay, right. So, thinking of things in colour, what is all this about? Well, you know, with Canna Capilla, I like to use what we call Nashville numbers. If anyone hasn't taken one of my Canna Capillas before, it just means that we number the chords 1 through to 7 in any key. So the first, say we're in the key of C, that's a nice easy one. It's got no sharps or flats. C will be the first note in the scale, then D, E, F, G, A and B. And we number them. The reason we use Nashville numbers, they're called Nashville numbers because back in the day, when you get scratch bands at the Grand Ole Opry and places like that in Nashville, they quite often would never have played a song together. So they would learn these numbers as the chords in a key, so the singer could get up on stage and say, this is a 12-bar blues. They know it's going to be 12 measures. It's a 1-4-5 progression. So in the key of C, the players would know that's going to be C, F and G. So it's kind of like a shorthand for music, basically, which is really, really handy. So in the key of C, C is 1, 2D, 3E, 4F, 5G, 6A, 7B. And each of those chords has a type as well. So in any key, the first, the fourth and the fifth chords are major chords, just your bog standard happy sounding chords. Your second, your third and your sixth chords are minor chords. And then we have the odd cousin, as I always like to call it, the diminished chord out on the end. So that means you can work out all of the chords that come up in any key. So with that in mind, if we wanted to think about the key of C, the chords will be C, D minor, because remember the two chords are minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, and then the B diminished on the end. Let's just play through those just for fun. I know a lot of you have done this before, but let's just play through every chord in the key of C. So we'd have C, then we would have our D, but we're going to play it as a minor, remember, D minor. E minor, F, G, A minor, and then we've got our B diminished. Don't worry if you can't play that one at the end. And we're back to C again. So notice that's major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, and then at the end we've got our unusual diminished chord, which is it's used a lot in jazz for kind of making changes and things like that, the diminished chord, which is quite nice. Hi Laura, hi Lisa, sorry, hi guys, hope you're all doing well. That diminished chord incidentally as well, you get it in horror films. Have you ever heard this kind of that kind of, you know, that kind of crazy, because it creates a sense of tension, which is really nice. Now, every one of those numbers, the Nashville numbers in any key, has a personality to it, and that's really, really important. And you could do this same thing, by the way, in any key. So say, let's just go to my my iPad a sec, just so you can see it in action. Let's ping this over here. Right, so key of G is G. Sorry, I've lost my Apple Pencil. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to start again. That's embarrassing. I'll hold my iPad as I do it so it doesn't fly around. Sorry, guys. Okay, this might be a bit better. G, A, B, C, D, E, and G has an F sharp at the end. The more you do it, you'll learn which keys have sharps and flats in. Okay, so that's our key of G. So all of the chords that make up the key of G, well, we've already known that the 2 chord is a minor, the 3 chord is a minor, and the 6 chord is a minor. this one, and this one are majors, so we can leave them alone. And then this one is the diminished chord on the end. So that means we can play all of our key chords in the key of G, and we can work them out. And that's really powerful, because if you practice through these chords, these are the chords that are most likely to come up in any key, which is fantastic. Yay! No longer black and white ad. Yeah, exactly. We're seeing in colour. Okay. So if I take these chords, I could play through these one at a time just so you can see it. Okay. So we'd have a G chord, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor, and an F sharp diminished, and back to G. So that's powerful in itself when you start to get a little bit of an understanding of how these chords come up in any key. Only 7 chords in a key, that's not that many to remember, right? And also, some of those chords come up more than others, so you don't even need to know that many. So that's already powerful, right? So I think about chords in that way. I think about them as Nashville numbers. So I think of every chord as having a personality. And that means no matter what key we're in, you can hear the chords. You'll be able to hear which one is happy, which one feels tense, which one feels saddest, etc., etc. It's really, really powerful. And that kind of made sense to me, but that gives you numbers to play with. But numbers are quite dry, aren't they? And I've always been quite a kind of artistic visual person. Doesn't mean I'm amazing at art, it just means I love art. And I'm sure some of you do as well. So I like to think about things in terms of colours. And this took me ages and ages to formulate, even though it looks easy peasy lemon squeezy, because I had to think about which colours to assign to each chord. So this is my reasoning, basically. I'll talk you through it, and I'll talk you through the chord personalities and the colours and why I've used them. In a minute, just so you know, we're going to put this to use, and we're actually going to play some songs using these colours like so. We're going to do a standard pop song, we're going to have a 12-bar blues, we're going to do a bit of jazz, another bit of pop, and a minor key song at the end as well. So we are going to put these to use. But let's just go to my main table. If you've got your sheets, this is on your second page. Diane, don't worry about printing them off now and looking for them if you're still here. Just use the ones on screen, and I'll ping it over in an email afterwards if you can't find the sheets. So we've got, Trisha's put music is art. I love that. And it's interesting, right? Because when I was doing some research on this, I wanted to do a little chapter on people who have synesthesia. You know, where certain artists, they actually see colours physically as they listen to music. It's completely involuntary. And many people, I was going to say suffer from this, but it's not really a suffering. It's just an interesting phenomenon. Messiaen was one of those, a composer way back when. Kandinsky, the artist, who interestingly uses a lot of reds in his work, he thinks he would see music in colour as well. Now, I don't actually physically see the colours, but I feel them, and when I see them on a sheet, it helps me understand, and that's where I think the power is in this, and that's what I want to share with you. So, the one chord in any key is the home chord. It feels grounded, it feels safe, it feels resolved. So I've made that a bright yellow. Again, this is one of those ones I thought about because it's one of the most important chords, but you'll see why yellow in a minute. But think happy colour, kind of bright, safe, feels at home. Then the next most important colour is the 5 chord, and that creates a sense of tension. So I've gone for red for danger, right? It's really vivid, and it's vivid for a reason. It's really, really meant to be stuck. And this is one of the issues I found. For a long time, I couldn't reconcile this red with the yellow because these chords come up all the time in music. So, for instance, Vivaldi's Four Seasons, the spring from it, ba 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 da 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 da, da 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 da, ba ba da ba 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 ba. Basically, the chords, not the melody, but the chords, are the 1 and the 5 chords. I can't remember what key originally he wrote it in, but the 1 and the 5 chords they play between the two. Oh, Victoria has synesthesia. That's really interesting. Not for music though. Tastes, words, particular names. Wow, that's amazing. I love that. I should have mentioned as well, we all call it synesthesia, but my good friend Colin, who's studied some of this stuff, he quite rightly let me know that synesthesia, like Victoria's saying, actually is sensing. It can be all of our senses. It could be sound and taste and things like that, and smell. So there's a special word for it. I think it might be chroma synesthesia, something to do with colours is the colour one. But yeah, anyway. So for ages I thought, wow, 5 and 1 go together, so should they kind of blend together colour-wise? But actually, it makes sense that they're complete opposites, because we're thinking of these chords and colours as emotions, right? Well, red is quite a stark difference from yellow, right? They look different, they're bright, they clash, and that makes sense because the 5 chord is all about tension, the 1 chord is all about resolution. And this was my breakthrough when I realised they didn't need to work together. It made everything else come together beautifully. So just so we could test that, just play a bog standard C chord. That's going to be our 1 chord in the key of C. Then play a G or even a G7. And we'll go back to C. You notice that whenever I hit the C chord, it feels rested. If I still miss G7 chord, feels like it's asking a question, which gets answered by C. Okay, so you can think of these as we're playing them. We're in yellow, home, then the red tension, home. Red tension, home, red tension, and home. Okay. So there you've got your 2 most important colours in a way, because most music is about that play-off between going towards tension and then resolution, which is really nice. Indrani said she found it startling when a friend told me that she doesn't see pictures when reading. For me, it's just like seeing a movie. Yeah, everyone experiences it differently, Indrani, don't they? I'm the same. When I read, I actually picture it in my mind. I can, like when I was reading Famous Five as a kid, like I knew exactly what the dog looked like. I could bring the picture up in my mind. I knew what Timothy looked like and all, etc. You know, so it's interesting. We're all different, aren't we? Okay, so let's have a look at one more colour. There's only 7 of them, so it won't take too long. The next one is, the next most important, I should just say, is the orange colour for change. The reason I chose orange, well, there's a couple of reasons really. The first off is that change chord, because it kind of goes away from home but gently, or it brings you back towards home gently. I wanted it to match with yellow. And if you think about the rainbow, orange and yellow are next together in the rainbow. The other thing is that 4 chord often bridges the gap between the 5 and 1. So quite often, again, I'll do that sequence for you. Instead of going C, G7, quite often, and you'll see this in the 12-bar blues in a minute, a progression will go from C to G7, then to F, and then back to C, creating a journey. So we've got home, tension, wants to go back home, but we go via the 4 chord. You'll see that in a lot of music. Well, it makes complete sense to think about that. It's orange because it bridges the gap between yellow and red. And in fact, if you see this first musical example, where have all the flowers gone? I mean, this is why I love it. If you just had like Roman numerals in these boxes, it's kind of, you can read it, but you have to process it a bit more in your mind. But look how clear you can see what's going on here with the colours. every single line, apart from the penultimate one, which I'll talk about in a minute, every single line is setting off from home. Every single line, including all of them, has 4 in the middle chord, so we're going on a journey somewhere. We're setting off from 1. The most common chord will be 4 to take you on a journey. And then at the end of every single line, we've got the 5 chord, and that's a real common thing. You want to kind of start to look out for that in music, because that red is the kind of tension that makes you want to go back to the start, which is great. There we go. Yeah, it's like in between yellow and red. Exactly right. Yeah, exactly. It kind of it's halfway between. It's neither got the tension of the 5 chord or the perfect home feel of the 1 chord. So it's kind of, yeah, like a literal thing, which is great. Laura saying she's never liked orange, won't wear it or have it in the garden, and I don't like change. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's psychologically linked in some way, Laura. Who knows, eh? That's quite fascinating, really. So, yeah, there you go. I'll make that bigger so you can see. Yeah, cool. I kind of like orange. It's kind of a happy colour for me, but it does have a touch of like, it's not far from brown, is it? So I can see why some people don't like it so much. Kind of interesting. I'm kind of drawn towards the brighter colours as I get older as well, which is interesting. Let's try playing this. So this time we're in the key of G. So if I was to bring this sheet back on, I'll pop this on again in a sec. Notice that we've got the 1 chord home, we've got the 4 chord. I'll just use normal numbers rather than Nashville now, just so you can see it clearly. So 1, 4, and 5 in the key of G is G, C, and D. Okay, let's bring our song on and we'll play Where Have All the Flowers Gone. Can't remember all the words, but that's not the point. It's just about putting these chords together. Okay, so we start off on G. Let me come on close, Cam, just so you can see it. We're setting off from home. Where have all the flowers gone? It's quite a low key for me to sing this. Then we go to the 4 chord. We're leaving home. We're going on a journey. Long time. And then we have the tension of the 5 chord. Ago. That wants to go round again. So we go back to the 1 chord. Here we have the 1 chord. We change to the tension of 5. Here we have the 1 chord. Change to 5. Now what happens in the next one is quite interesting. We go from we start with the 4 chord. Whenever we start a different section in music, or whenever you sense like a change in music, it's most often the 4 chord. You can see that's what's happening here. It feels like a different part of the verse because for the first time we don't have the 1 chord at the start. So that's using the 4 chord quite literally to create a sense of change. So that's going to be our C. When will they? Gentle resolution to 1. Ever change to 4. When will they? Tension of D. And we always, unless we want to leave people hanging, we always want to go back to that 1 chord. It kind of makes everything feel finished, right? Let me see if I can get the words up for this, and let's have a little play of that so you can give it a try. Every one of those boxes is 4 beats, so you just need to strum down 4 times, or you can strum up and down 4 times if you feel more comfortable, and change after every 4. Okay, let's try. Here we go. Hang on, this isn't the correct lyrics. That doesn't look right to me. It's the trouble, isn't it, with some of these songs? There's so many versions of these songs. Here we go. Here's some. Okay, right. Grab your uke then, if you haven't already got it out, and let's give it a go. Yeah, exactly, Shell. That's really great to hear it. Shell says this really works to the point where I find the Roman numeral text in the boxes a distraction. And it does. I've tried it with kids. You can just use the colours and eventually your brain learns to see the colours as chords. It's cool. It's really cool. You could do it with notes as well as I kind of go into a lot more detail of that in the book that I'm working on. Let's give it a try from the start then. G chord to kick us off. Let's roll that to get us going. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls pick them, everyone. Sorry, I hit wrong chords. Everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Now you can see how low that is for me to sing. It's really awkward, right? So let's try a different key and show you that these chords, these numbers and these colours work in any key. So we wanted to do this in the key of C. C is going to be our 1 chord. And you can literally count up on your hand with this. So C, D, E, F will be the 4 chord, G the 5 chord, okay? So think C is yellow, that's our home, feels comfortable, sunlit plateau. 4 is going to be F, that's going to be our orange for change. G is going to be 5, that tension, so think of it as red, okay? Let's keep these boxes up and you should be able to play along and it should work with these chords. So we would have C, change to F, tension of the red G, yellow C, orange F, red G, 1 again for C, change chord F, tension G. Then we've got our change chord again F, home to C, F, tension of G, and back home. Let's do another verse. Now we're in the key of C. Where have all the young girls gone? Long time passing. Where have all the young girls gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young girls gone? Husbands, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Powerful, right? Isn't that cool? Trisha's got a fun fact. Apparently orange was Frank Sinatra's favourite colour. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Maybe that's why he sang that song Tangerine. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Maybe he was a Holland fan as well. The Netherlands sports the Netherlands football team. Okay, so that shows you how those 1, 4 and 5 chords fit together. Now, what we can do, actually, let's have one more example as it's there. Let's have one more example. Let's do the 12-bar blues. So 12-bar blues is almost like it does exactly what it says on the tin, right? So we've got 12 bars. You can see here 3 lots of 4. 3 times 4 equals 12. And you notice that the basic 12-bar blues uses the 1, 4, 5 chords again, all with the same function. There's a couple of wee errors on these sheets that I only noticed this morning. Don't sweat it. I'll get them changed and I'll ping them out to you if you want them changed. But that C chord should be the same shade as the orange above it. Goodness knows why I did it a different shade. There's also something in one of the other songs, but I'll show you. It's not a big deal though. So here we go. We start off on the 1 chord and notice that we have the 1 chord for a whole line, 4 beats, 4 beats times 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we need to go somewhere with this song, so the 4 chord takes us away from home gently, sends us on a journey, gives us a bit of change. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, back home to the yellow. Now remember what I was talking about earlier. Here we have the tension of the 5 chord, but rather than going straight home, it takes us via the 4 chord, a bit of change, and then home. And that makes sense colour-wise, right? Tension, but we're not quite home, so we're orange. And then that blends beautifully into the yellow of home. And we've got that stark red box at the end because that makes you want to go back to the start. It's the tension at the end again. So you can really see that at play. Often there's lots of rude ways to describe this bottom line. A lot of people call it delayed gratifications. When you finally get home, it's even better, right? So, but I kind of think of a nicer one. We mentioned this the other week, didn't we, when we were doing Canacapilla? I kind of think of this as almost like you wake up on a Sunday and you smell your mum's Sunday roast cooking downstairs, and it's like, oh, it's the nicest smell in the world. So when you finally get round to eating it, you know, late afternoon, oh, it tastes even better, right? That's my analogy, and I'm sticking to it. The other way you can think about it is tension is kind of, you know, something's happened on the street, you desperately want to go back home, but you go via the garden. That's your 4 chord, and then your 1 chord is the house. Let's give it a go then. So we'll just do a bit of hound dog on this one. G, C and D. Just join in with me. Follow the boxes. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Change to orange. You're nothing but a hound dog, back home, crying all the time. Tension. You ain't never caught a rabbit. Change. You ain't no friend of mine. And then the tension at the end to the start. They said you're high class. Well, that was just a lie. Well, they said you was a high class. Well, that was just a lie. Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit, and you ain't no friend of mine. Cool, right? Well, just to prove that that works, let's try that in a completely different key again. Let's see. Does anyone want to shout out a key? I'll gab on about something whilst you're thinking one. Shout out any letter between A and G. Remember, we've only got 12 keys or 12 notes in the whole of the Western world. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, and then that takes you back to A again. So 12 notes that we can play with. This is where I really want you to think, oh, here we go, we've got one, we've got F. Karen was in first, so we're going to do the next one in the key of F, okay? So you can either look this up if you're not sure, or you can count on your hands. You just need to know that F has 1 flat in it. Every key has a certain amount of sharps and flat. F has 1, and it's the B flat, okay? So 1 in F is F, then G, A, B flat is 4, and C is 5, okay? So that's your 1, 4, 5, F, B flat, C. Now, since we tend to play in the same few keys, you'll start to learn these as we go. I'll tell you what, Fran, as you've suggested D, we'll do that ever so quickly as well next, because then we can do both, which would be cool. So let's have a look in the key of F. It does have an awkward B flat chord. Remember, just like this, up and over, or you can do the bar if you want for B flat, or just have a listen for now. It's absolutely fine. But we would have F taking us on a journey. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Then we'd have the orange change, which is B flat in this instance. You're nothing but a hound dog, back home, crying all the time. And then C is the 5 chord. You never caught a rabbit, via the garden to get back home, and you ain't no friend of mine. And then our mum kicks us out onto the street again. There's our tension. Let's try strumming that. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit, and you ain't Now Fran suggested the key of D, so just to prove that works, D, E, F, G, A. So the 1, 4, 5 chords in the key of D are D, G and A. D is home, let's do it. Okay. Then we've got the G chord for the 4 chord, that's our orange chord. So D is yellow, G is 4, and A, which is 1 higher, is 5. Okay. I'll do this a bit slower, give our brains time to think. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Orange for change, that's G. Nothing but a hound dog. Back to home, crying all the time. Tension of A, you ain't never caught a rabbit. Back to the change chord, you ain't no friend of mine. Back home. Let's do it again. They said you were high class. Well, that was just a lie. Orange, they said you was a high class. Well, that was just a lie. Back home. Well, you ain't red, never caught a rabbit, and you ain't no friend of mine. Back home. So there we go. You can see the power of those 3 chords. A lot of modern music is just based on those 3 chords, and most blues as well, which is really cool, right? What about those other chords in the key though? Because there's only so much you can paint with yellow, red and orange, and it's a striking picture, but if you look at those first 2 songs, it's okay, but it's lacking a bit of variety, right? So we need to add some other chords in. Now we've run out of major chords in a key, because remember, only the 1st, the 4th and the 5th chords in every major key are major chords, and we've used all 3 already, so we've got no more major chords to paint with. We just have to use those 3. Okay, you can borrow from other keys, but that's something we'll talk about later. It's a bit more unusual, but they're just in generally natural chords. Hi Robin, that's what we do. So we need some other chords, but notice that the chords that we've got left, I'm going to ignore this one for a moment, or we'll car park it. We'll come back to that in a minute. But notice that we've used yellow, orange and red, which are all your striking colours. Then the minor colours are all muted tones, okay? I know it's hard to read the purple one. In my book, I've actually made the text white so it stands out a bit more. I didn't alter the colours themselves because that's really important, that they're those specific shades of those specific colours, which you'll see why as we learn more. But notice we've got muted colours. So we've got the violet, we've got the dark blue, and we've got the green for all our minor colours. And that makes sense. Minor colours, sad, more muted. Okay. Now, the 3 chord, the reason that's dark blue is in any key, the 3 chord is the saddest sounding chord. So if you play a C chord, that would be 1 in C. Notice if I go to the 2 chord, D minor, even though it's a minor, it doesn't feel particularly sad. If I play it on its own, it does. Oh, I'm sad. But if I play that together with the 1 chord, it's got a lightness to it, right? Walking down the street and I'm feeling good. But what happens when I play the E minor, the 3 chord? Oh no, my heart is broken. So in any key, the 3 chord is the saddest chord. And in lots of songs, composers use that really literally. What's the saddest colour? Well, it's got to be deep blue, hasn't it? If you think of Joni Mitchell's Blue album, has that really muted dark blue cover. Beautiful cover, actually. So that's our saddest chord. That leaves us 2 more minors. As I say, the 2 chord, this one's kind of what I call the upbeat minor. It doesn't feel super, super depressing, and that's why so many composers use it. Gives us a touch of sadness, but not too much. Notice it's always also called the predominant. I'm not going to go too much into the heavy theory today because I want to show you how magic these colours are and how you don't have to overthink everything. But if you're into your music theory, the reason we call it the predominant is that it quite often comes in front of the 5 chord. If any of you are into jazz, you'll know that the most common jazz combination of chords is 2, 5, 1. Okay, so that's this one, and then back here. And we're actually going to see that in a song in just a moment. And that's why I've gone for purple. It's a slightly muted colour. I know a lot of people love it. There's that famous poem, isn't there, about when I'm old I shall wear purple. But here it's a fairly muted purple. And what goes next to red in the rainbow? It's purple. And that makes sense because this chord's called the predominant. Like I say, it moves beautifully into that red. And you can see that at play. Now, the music theory side of it, if you're interested, is because of some of the notes in the chords. So I'll show you if I come up really close. Okay, so you'll notice that this D minor chord, okay, if I was to change to G7, it would look like this. But let's think about that. If this is how I play my D minor chord, my fingers this way, it doesn't matter how you play it. This isn't about technique today. But notice if I put my fingers this way around, you can see that there's only this one finger in difference between the two of the chords. That in part is why you get a lovely smooth change from the 2 to the 5 chord. It works in any key, so let's say a 2-5 in the key of C, okay? You could do G minor to the 5 chord, let's do 2. Let's do it in F, so G minor, C, F. G minor, C, F. Now if I play that C as a C7, again you can see that one finger is kept in the same place. Well, actually, if you think about it, this note here is also a G, which is the same as this one up here. So you can actually see there's 2 notes that are the same in the C7 and a G minor. So that creates that smoothness. So you've already got that smoothness going on. Then the last bit of theory, I promise, if this is in your head, don't worry, it's the last bit of theory, is that we tend to play, when we do jazz, we tend to play a D minor as a D minor 7. And this note here, this C note, leads beautifully into this B note of the G7. So you get this smooth. We call that voice leading. So basically, whenever you play the 2 chord, it pulls you towards the 5 chord. That 5 chord creates tension that wants to be resolved, which we go to the 1 chord for. And that's a basis of so many jazz songs. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Those autumn leaves drift by my window. So many jazz songs. Or this one that we're going to play now. Da 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 dee da ba da da da. When they see you out with me, they're so jealous. Goodness knows my honeysuckle rose. So it's the basis of a lot of jazz songs. Here you can really see it with the colours. Again, this is why I'm so passionate about thinking of these colours. You've got no more dry 2-5-1s and black and white page. You can clearly see what's happening. So this is Fats Waller's Honeysuckle Rose. It's a really simple song, but really demonstrates this lovely. So notice we've got the 2 chord, in this case D minor. Okay. If you want to make it sound even jazzy, put down this little finger here for a D minor 7, which is a beautiful thing to do. But if you find that tricky, just D minor will be fine. Notice how smoothly that goes to the G7. Okay. And we do it again. And notice we do that 4 times, that change. And each time you do that, you kind of build in tension, right? So when we finally get to that C chord, there's a real sense of resolution and relief. Okay? Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. Goodness knows my honeysuckle rose. Do you want to do it together with me? I'll bring up some more lyrics for that so we can play that together. We'll just do the verses. Where are we? Honeysuckle rose. I've stopped printing out lyrics because otherwise I end up with sheets of paper everywhere and save a few trees, eh? It's always good. Okay, here we go. I've got some lyrics up. Okay. So just strum along with me. This one, because of the chord changes, it's going to be every 2 strums. We're going to change chords like so. Here we go. 2, 3. Oh, hang on. Flipping ads come up on my phone. 2, 3, 4. Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. Goodness knows my honeysuckle rose. Nice, right? Okay. So there you can really see the power of the 2 going to the 5 chord. Really lovely, isn't it? Really, really beautiful. So that's like the probably like the 4th most useful colour after the 1, 4 and 5, and that's the 2 chord. Okay, so you'll start to see that these are the most powerful chords that come up: the 1, the 4 and the 5, and then also either the 2 or the 6. They're kind of fairly interchangeable. Now here we've got what I've called the full cycles. This is the rhythm changes. This was popularised by George Gershwin way back in the 30s, or it might have even been the late 20s, thinking about it. And he came up with this famous song, I Got Rhythm. Everyone loved these chord changes so much that jazz musicians started to borrow them and turn them into other things. So the beboppers started to take these chords and create new melodies over the top. And then eventually it led to pop music in the 60s using similar things, only they replaced the D minor with an F. So it's been really influential. We don't know whether Gershwin actually came up with it or whether he just popularised it. This is a song where there's a mistake. I'm really sorry, but the good thing is the colours are absolutely fine. If you're really eagle-eyed, you'll notice that the second box at the top says G. It should say A minor. So if you've got a pen and you want to scribble it out and change it to A minor, that's absolutely fine. Basically, all of these 3 lines should be the same: C, A minor, D minor, and G7. So let's see what's going on here. So the 6th chord in any key is dark green, and that creates, it feels like we're travelling, but this time we've got some melancholy. It's got a sadness to it. It's not got the heartbreak of the 3 chord, but it definitely has a touch of melancholy. So as I've written here, it's kind of like we leave home. See? Green isn't far from yellow, right? We're going to somewhere a little bit more emotional. So we're going to do this chord here, C to A minor. Okay. The next box should say D minor. Obviously had a funny 5 minutes here. So D minor next, because we know that's our purple. What does that do? Well, it desperately wants to pull towards the 5 chord, and that creates tension that makes us want to go home. So the 1 chord feels rested. Some emotion from the 6th chord leads us nicely into the 2 chord, which pulls us to 5, and then we're back home. So yellow, green, purple, red. 1, 6, 2, 5. And you can use this for all sorts. You might notice when I play it at this speed, it works as Blue Moon. I'll do it saw you standing alone without a song in your heart. Da 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 da. Or if we play those quickly, 2 beats each. I got rhythm, I got music, I got my man. Notice on the final line we have the home, tension, home, the classic end. Who could ask for anything more? Let's go again. I got starlights in sweet places. I got my man. Who could ask for anything more? Okay, so we've got some really nice colours that lead beautifully into each other. The 1 chord, again, we're home. 6 chord creates a sense of melancholy, but it's taken us away from home. That leads lovely into the 2 chord because they're both types of minor chords, and the 2 chord always wants to go to 5, which creates the tension to bring us back home again. So again, don't worry too much about remembering these colours. You've got the key to help you at the start. But when you're looking at songs, see if you can either use my colour boxes or draw your own. See if you can start putting these colours together, because the more you play through them, the more they become part of your visual memory. So if you think about it, you know, if I just asked you to play C, A minor, F and G when you started out on uke, you probably think, oh, how am I going to remember those chords? How do they go together? But now you don't even think about it. You do it so simply because it's one of the most common chord combinations. Well, here you'll think the same thing. The more you do it, you'll see this yellow, green, purple, red. It happens in so many songs. It's just so common. And you'll start to associate that with certain types of feeling. Home, melancholy, leading. I think of that purple as leading into the tension of the 5 chord. Cool, huh? And you could do that in any key. Let's just do it for fun. Someone else shout out a key, because we've had a couple there. We've had F and D from Fran and Neil. So if someone else can think of a key, shout them out, and we'll have a go at playing this in a different key. Okay. So just whilst we're doing that, let's just whiz back a second. Okay, so now no longer do you have to think tonic, submedian, dominant, all these things. You can start seeing things in terms of colour and emotions, and that's really key in terms of your playing. Laura's saying, what I was saying about not liking change, these colours are messing with her head. Don't worry, Laura, you've got to internalise them. The more you do it, the more it makes sense, I promise, and suddenly it'll click. You might have noticed that's also the reason that I'm doing this every time for Can a Capella on a Monday, our live jam as well, because the more you do it, the more it soaks in, which is great, right? I mean, look at that 145, that's a classic example. It's just so lovely to see, isn't it? Okay. All right, so we've got an A from Wayne. Wayne just beat Victoria to it, so let's have a go at the key of A. Okay, so we know that A is going to be our 1 chord. That's where we're setting off from on our journey. Okay, the 5 chord, 6 chord next, isn't it? Sorry, A, B, C, D, E. It's going to be F sharp in the key of A. All right, again, remember every key has a certain amount of sharps and flats. You can Google them if you're not sure. The 6 in A is F sharp. So A, D, C sharp. Sorry, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp. So it's actually easy to play, and you might have done this a few times in the key of A. Notice you go from A to F sharp. All we need to do is just pop that finger down. And it's F sharp minor, because remember the 6 chord's a minor chord. Okay, A. Don't worry, Laura, so we all work differently. It's all good. Then we go to the 2 chord. Well, that's going to be B, isn't it, in the key of A? This one's a bit hard because you've got to do this B minor shape here. But what you could do is just do a B minor 7 by borrowing the 2nd fret. That'd be absolutely fine as well. Even more jazzy, in fact. So A, F sharp, B minor, a 7. And then finally we've got the 5, A, B, C, D, E. It's an E7 at the end. Okay, so notice even though we're in a completely different key, we've got the same feeling. Okay, so different chords but same feeling. Home, and then we've got melancholy. We've got the leading chord, which makes us want to go to 5, and that's the red tension. If you hold it there, it doesn't feel rested, so we need to go back home to A. And notice if I put those in order, let's do it really slow. Blue moon, I saw you standing alone, without a song in my heart. Can't quite remember the lyrics. Da 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 da. Notice how great those fit together. Lovely, hey? So yeah, it really starts to make sense of music, which is fantastic. And Rebecca's just saying, do you find the colours as useful in songs that are not patterned or predictable? This is the fascinating thing, Rebecca. This is I haven't got any crazy unpredictable ones today because I didn't want to overcomplicate things. But in the book I do. But it's really fascinating. Even the most like complex of songs, when you start putting the colours into them, they start making more sense. I'll see if I can find a nice example from later in the book. You get a quick look at my book in process as well as we go. There was one in the back, I think it might be God Only Knows by the Beach Boys, which is a nice one. So there's in the book there's going to be loads of examples of these, as you can see here with some of these. These are some of the songs. Let's see. Give me just a minute. Okay, I think it was towards the back. It's about 100 pages, so it's quite epic already, the book. Nearly there. Here we go. Dip-a-dip-dip-doo. Okay. Let's see. I promise it's here somewhere. Here we go. Colouring more complex music. Okay. Yeah. These are quite nice examples. Okay. Let's go to one that you lot are more likely to know. So here's Something by the Beatles, which has quite a lot going on. But it makes sense when you look at the colours. So that if I was to say to you these chords, I mean, they're relatively simple to learn, but if I just said them out loud without teaching them to you, C major 7, C7, F, D7, G, what have we got next? I think that would be an A, an A7, and then an A major 7. It's like, whoa, there's so much going on here. But when you start to think about these in terms of colours, it's relatively simple what's going on here. So we're starting, this is the box down here, look. We're starting on a C, we're in the key of C, so that's home. Something in the way. We go to a more intense yellow because that's a C major 7. This is explained in the book, don't worry. That attracts me like no other. Now this C7's a borrowed chord, but it's still working as the tension chord because that wants you to go to F. So notice we're home, spicy home, tension that treats me like no other change. And so on and so forth. So you start to realise that even these more complex songs, when you look at them in terms of just chords, they look bewildering. When you start to see them in colour patterns, they just make so much sense. It's really, really neat like that. Let's see if there's another one. God Only Knows. Really complex chords with lots of jazz voicings and all sorts. But actually, if you look at the basic structure, we've got the one chord setting us on a journey. I may not It's A minor 6, always love you. Now the 3 chord creates a sense of sadness. This is a very sad song. As long as there are stars above you. Tension of 5. So you kind of start to, what I'm saying is, in answer to Rebecca's question, which is a really important, valid one, yeah, the more you get this system, the more even the most complex songs will make sense, which is really, really exciting, right? It's like a whole new way of thinking about music, but once you get your brain into it, it really helps. It honestly does. Let's have a look at a couple more things from our sheets today then. This is quite fun. As Anthony's just asking, will the book be available before the summer retreat? Hopefully, Anthony. It just depends how quickly I can finish writing it and make it look all pretty. So, yeah, just on that at the moment. I'm every time I think I've nearly finished it, I add some more arrangements to it to make it more interesting. So, yeah, but watch this space. I'll let you know for sure. Now, sometimes you get a song that kind of breaks all the rules and you look at it and you think, wow, those colours are so stark, they don't lead into each other nicely. So this is a common chord combination that's used in loads of music. Taylor Swift's used it, Ed Sheeran's used it, Jason Mraz has used it. That's what we've got here, I'm Yours. So yellow and red, they kind of clash. So straight away, we've gone from home. Okay, C chord. Then we go to the starkness of going straight to the 5 chord. And you might think, wow, that's not very sophisticated. That's kind of quite a big brush change. But that's the point. This is pop music. We want it to be all pop-tastic and kind of perk up your ears, right? So this is purposefully kind of jagged like that and different, which is cool, right? Then green and red, what is they say they should never be seen unless you're Father Christmas? Or is that orange and green, which is it? Yeah, orange and green should never be seen. So they don't go together. But we've had home, we've had 5. We need a little bit of melancholy, otherwise it's going to get really cloying. So that's why we've got this 6 chord in. And then notice that the 4 chords that comes after is only 1 note difference, so it fits in nicely. But again, they're not colours that should be seen together. They kind of clash. That's what creates this sense of drama. So it makes a real pop-tastic progression. So C, this is in C again, but we can try it in another key in a minute. As you see, right? So there you go. It's a really common chord combination, but you can see the popness of it, right? All those bright colours, all that kind of interest, very different, which is really nice. Now, the one thing we haven't touched upon, which I'm not going to go into a crazy amount of detail about because it kind of opens up a rabbit warren, and I feel like I've given you a lot to think about today. But just to show you, you can apply this same scheme in a minor key. And remember, every major key has a relative minor with all the same notes and chords in it. But changing the order gives it a completely different feeling. So when we go to a minor key, everything is shifted. All the colours are the same, but because the chords are in a different order, the relationship between those colours is different. I'll show you what I mean. Let me go back to that whiteboard again just a second. Let's see if I can hold it steady and try and get this to work. Okay, right. So let's do it in red so you can see it's different. Oh, I'll move this out of the way a sec. Okay. Let's do, yeah, let's do the key of C, for instance. Oh my gosh, I can't write my fingers at all on this, but you get the idea, right? C, D minor, E minor, F, G. These are all the chords that come up in the key of C major. And then we've got this B diminished at the end, okay? Now just imagine that that scale goes on forever and ever and ever like this. So it just keeps on going, right? Well, what happens is that the relative minor, every key, a major key has a relative minor. It has all of the same notes in, they just start from a different place. So if I do this in green so you can see it, the key of A minor goes A minor, B diminished, C, D minor, E minor, F and G. What do you notice about those two keys, right? Zara, and I don't know how to say it, says, I didn't know Dwight played Duke. Cheeky fella. I quite like to look like Dwight from The Office. I presume that's the Dwight he's referring to. It makes a change from Alan Carr, which is what I normally get, or Chris Evans, but I think I'm getting too old for that. Right. Have a look at these two scales. They basically have the same notes, don't they? Look at that. That's basically the same as that, but starting in a different order. But because we've changed the order, it kind of changes everything about. Let's bring the sheets back on and show you. So I'll bring on my minor table. Here we go, which I think is on page 6 or 7. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Next one, it's on 8 actually. I told a lie, it's on 8. So notice that the chords are still in roughly the same order. We've still got yellow to purple to blue to orange. Now this one is changed, and that's because the dominant function, that kind of tension, it's no longer here in the key of A minor because the 5 chord is a minor chord, so it wouldn't work. A dominant 7 is based on a major chord with a flatted 7. Don't sweat the theory, but just know it doesn't really work at the moment. And we can't really make this one red because the 7 chord isn't about tension. So I've changed that to a nice light green. And other than that, all of the colours are exactly the same. Okay, if I was to just flash back ever so quickly to that second page, all of the colours are the same and they're still in the same order. They just start from a different place, okay? With the exception of this one, which I've changed to a light green. Here we go. The circle of fifths is different, and that's something that I'm going into a bit of detail in the book with at the moment, actually, showing you how this fits in with a circle of fifths. Circle of fifths kind of, it helps find these key families, but it kind of has a different function to do with movement, but I'll cover that a separate time because it's quite hard to show that without a bit of time, really. So here's the minor table. So notice that since all the chords have shifted, the 1 chord is now a minor chord. And you know from all our songs that the most common chords that come up in any key are 1, 4 and 5. Well, look at that. The 1 chord is a minor. The 4 chord is a minor. And the 5 chord is a minor as well. That means that we've got the main 3 chords in a minor key, a natural minor key, and minor chords. So necessarily, everything's going to sound darker, isn't it? It's going to sound a bit more muted if we do those 1, 4 chords. Because the relationship between the chords has changed, I've kind of changed the personality names a little bit, but they still keep roughly the same thing. So green is melancholy, just like it was in the major key. That diminished chord is still fragile, just like it was in a major key. Rather than being called home, because the 1 chord is now green, the yellow, the C chord, if we're doing A, B, C, I've called hopeful. Still has that kind of upbeat nature. The 4 chord is still it still leads you somewhere, but this time I've called it emotional. The 5 chord has a gentle pull because it's an E minor rather than a dominant 7th chord. It's more of a gentle pull, but it does still make you want to go home. The 6th chord, comforting, we've still got that nice yellow kind of major feel. And then this major doesn't actually come up that often, but I've turned it a light green. It's kind of got a floaty feel to it in a minor key. So if we have a look at a song in a minor key, what I love about this straight away is look at this. Ta-da! I mean, right away with those colours, if nothing else, you can see how different it looks to a major key song. Let's have a look. Major key, major key. Look at these for major keys. They're bright, they're vibrant, they're kind of upbeat. There's, you know, it's pop-tastic. And this couldn't look more different. It's more muted, lots of shades of green, a bit more kind of relaxed maybe. So kind of interesting, you can see the colours at play there already. So let's have a play around with this one. This is Scarcborough Fair. It's 6/8 time. Some versions have the A minor for 2 measures at the start. Some have them for 1 measure, then it goes to the G. Both kind of work, it doesn't matter too much. But let's just have a little play. So we're still setting off on a journey, but this time we're starting with melancholy. Are you? We've got that major chord, but it's that unusual floating sound. Going to Scarcborough Fair. So notice we've still got home, but it's got sadness about it. When we hit the next line, notice how much that C chord lights it up. It has a lightness to it. It brightens everything up. It's almost like the clouds have parted just for a second. I'll put that together so you can hear it. I think I'm going to play 2 A minors at the start because I like it that way. Are you going to Scarcborough Fair? Here's the sunshine. Parsley, sage, back to melancholy. Rosemary and thyme. Remember, clouds part me to the one who lives there. She once was a good friend of mine. So even though we're still using those 1 chords and the 4 chord, it has a whole other feel to it, doesn't it? Which is really nice. There's no tension of the 5 chord because the 5's a minor chord. It wouldn't work in this circumstance. If you're really nerdy, the fact that that D is a major chord and not a minor is because this is a modal song, and it was kind of written before scales as major scales and minor scales really existed. So it's kind of an unusual chord there. But I love the way it kind of just pops up. I mean, you can see, right, that it's so different from all the others, which is really nice. Let's have a little play of that then. So we'll just do 2 A minors at the start. That's the only change. Just let me get the lyrics up, and then we'll have a go. Scarcborough Fair. Lyrics. Okay. Join in with me then and just kind of feel as you play through this how different it feels from those major key songs. Here we go. A minor start. I'll do just the chords first so you can follow. 1, 2, 3, A minor. 2 of them this time. G, A minor, C, A minor, D minor. That's the one that sticks out, right? A minor, C, stay on it, back to G, A minor, let's go back to the top. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Are you going to Scarcborough Fair? Sunshine, parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme. Remember me to the one who lives there. He once was a true love cambric shirts, parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme, without no seams nor need to work, then he'll be a true love of mine. There we go, we'll pause there. Fantastic. So you can see now that these colours, they're really creating a vibe as well as just kind of being a visual indication of the chords to play, which is really, really nice. So if you enjoyed this, join me for my live jams on Monday, and we're going to be doing a lot more of these colours as we go through. And as I say, in the book there, we're going to have a lot more examples of those. I'll show you a few as we go, which is going to be really exciting. And I'll explain about maybe I might do a series on this at some point of videos, or I might do a part 2 of this where I'll explain about those chords that come from other keys. So what do we do if we've got secondary dominant chords, or how do we indicate like a sixth chord and things like that. It's all covered. It's all in my crazy plan here, which you can learn about. Let me just whiz through it a bit just to show. But yeah, you can have a go. You can have a go at this on the Monday when we do our live lesson, and then you can kind of start, maybe even get some of your own sheets and colour them in. See if it helps you find where you are with patterns in music. And these give you familiar examples basically. So you'll see patterns that come up again and again. That Let It Be pattern, look at that. That's the third pattern that we looked at, with the stark 1 to 5 and then 6 to 4. So it's kind of interesting. You start to recognise those. And I mean, Let It Be couldn't be more different to I'm Yours by Jason Mraz, could it, right? But it's the same chords in the opening part of the verse. So it's amazing, really. Here Comes the Sun. Look at that. You really see that kind of yellow to orange to red combination that we looked at earlier. So if we just want to strum those chords. Little darling, it's been a long, long, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Okay, I want to do it in C, F and G7. Little darling, it's been a long, long, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. What about if I want to do it in a key of A, D and E? Little darling, it's been a long, long, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. It's super powerful. And really, the main thing I want you to take away from today is just to start to introduce these colours and what they mean and how they can help you visually. But I hope more than any of that, what you've taken away is the fact that music isn't as complicated as it looks. It's all about patterns and taking the chords from a key. There's only 7 of them, right? And putting them in different orders to make it sound nice. And then those extra chords and other bits and bobs that we put in, they're the kind of sugar and spices on the top to make everything nice. The other thing that I really want you to take away is that thinking about Kandinsky and his art, right? It's about emotions. Some people, they go around art galleries and they have really strong reactions to paintings, even kind of abstract art. Some people just see it as a load of rubbish, which is totally fine as well. Some people just really enjoy the aesthetics of pieces. I love, you know, the pop artist Roy Lichtenstein. Everyone knows his latest stuff, you know, all the comic book stuff with Pow and Zap and all that, kind of like the Andy Warhol stuff. But his early paintings still had that comic book look, but he used blue, yellow and white. He really loved that colour combination. And there's something about seeing those pictures and the starkness of that that really does something to me. So it's starting to see chords as emotions, and then you don't have to remember chords as progressions, as in like I've got to remember it goes C, A minor, F and G. You start to think, oh, okay, I'm going from yellow to the melancholy chord, and then to the orange, and then to the red, and it starts making sense of things. So music is about emotions, it's about the way it makes you feel. That's why it's magic. And music is magic. I was listening to a couple of songs this morning and I was just thinking like, wow, you know, this free thing that you can just get hold of and listen to and enjoy, and it brings so much happiness into your life. Magic, right? But when you see it like this with the colours, it makes sense as well, and you can really see those emotions. So really have a little bit more of a look into this. It's really fascinating. Maybe do a bit of reading on synesthesia and things like that. Super fascinating. I'll keep you up to date with the book as well. Hopefully should be done by the summertime. Let me know what you make of it. Let me know if it kind of it's clicked with you, or whether you're kind of interested in it or anything like that. Thanks, Karen. Thank you. If nothing else, hopefully it just makes the sheets clearer, which is always always helpful. I'm just seeing if I've got any more Canopila ones I can give you as an example. Oh yeah, here's the sheets that we did for yesterday. I'm going to make these available soon. But again, if I just... There we go. Let's go to a major key one. I've got a bulldog. Again, you can see I got a bulldog just looking at it. You can see lots of yellow. It's going to be straightforward. It's going to be probably upbeat. It's going to have a happy feel to it. And it has. I got a bulldog and he weighs 500 change. I got a bulldog and he weighs 500. I got a bulldog and he weighs 500. Bite you, baby. There's a tension. Gonna bite you. Bad. There's a resolution. And the other one that we did, the Blackest Crow, you can just look at it and automatically more muted colours, lots of darkness from the minor melancholy. You can hear how it's got that kind of more melancholy feel. Okay, so what I'm going to do for all the Canopilas from now on, as well as having the Nashville numbers, I'll have those colours, and the more you do them, the more you'll internalise them, and perhaps we'll all get back together in another year and see if you can do it without the chords, just the colours. That would be cool, right? That'd be a nice challenge. So yeah, it'd be loads of fun. Thanks, Trisha. Thank you. Thanks, Anthony. Super fascinating, isn't it? Cool. I'll just hang on for a bit to see if I've got any other questions or comments that comes up with this one. But just a reminder that next fortnightly lesson is going to be in 2 weeks today. And we're going to be looking at Country Roads by John Denver. And we're going to look at two versions. We're going to look at John Denver's original, using some really nice country style Travis picking. And then we're going to have a look at Brother Iz's version, which couldn't be more different, even though it's the same song. And guess what? It'll have the colours as well, so you can kind of follow this concept as we go, which would be great. Yeah, fantastic. Lisa's just saying, could she email me about Cheltenham? Yeah, absolutely, Lisa. So yeah, ping me an email. Probably easiest to send it to mattsteadcontact@gmail.com. mattsteadcontact@gmail.com. There's still plenty of tickets available if you're interested, or anyone else that wants to come. It's all a bit later this year because I've been so busy, because I had the cruise, and then Sore Fingers, and then obviously you've got the Spanish thing coming up. I've been so crazy busy. I'm desperately behind with it all, so don't panic, it is all happening. We've got some amazing acts, you'll see them all on the website ufogb.com, but hopefully tickets have started going out now. Shaz has been helping me with that, so they're on the way out, but I'll have workshops for sale hopefully within the next month, and everything else coming up about that as well. So yeah, still tickets available. Get over to I'll put it on the screen actually. It's UFOGB. It was quite hard for everyone to type out Ukulele Festival of Great Britain. Even I misspell it because it's such a long thing. So I've made the website easier to find now. So if you want to find out any information about it, just type in ufogb.com and you'll be able to find it. So yeah, it should be lots of fun. Really looking forward to it. There we go. Fran was just saying she's been playing God Only Knows for a while, listening to this lesson and trying to put the colours to the chords. Oh, that's cool. I love that. I love that. And if anyone's interested, there's a whole lesson just on God Only Knows. It's on, what course is it? I think I did it as a live lesson, but I think it's on one of the courses as well, because it's such a beautiful song, isn't it? Which is nice. So yeah, yes, Grabbin, I've got him in there. I've got him in the book, Wayne. So yeah, it's really interesting. I think he did a kind of visual concert thing, didn't he, with some of these colours and everything. Isaac Newton, though, I didn't know about that one, so that's interesting. So yeah. Dan's saying, always felt the music but didn't understand the meaning. Such a change for me in the feel today, deeper with meaning. Yeah, that's amazing. That's what I like. That's what I like. And as I say, all music's emotions. I just love that. It's like as a composer, as a musician, I think you're almost painting with emotions. It's quite cool. And those keys, all our paints, those are all the different emotions that we can use in different parts of the songs. See if you can listen to some Beatles songs, look at the chords and see if you can find out why they're using chords in certain places. Where does it feel at home? Where's the tension? Where does that 3 chord come in, that sad one? Often in a Beatles song, it's when they're singing about something sad that's happened. So keep it simple. Rather than going straight for jazz or anything, try a nice Beatles number and see if you can apply this stuff. It's really cool. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a fantastic rest of the week. I'll be back on Monday for another Can of Capilla Mondays where we can put all of this into practice. So really looking forward to that. We're going to do Have You Ever Seen the Rain by Creedence Clearwater Revival, and a new one that we've not done before. We're also going to do April Showers, a beautiful jazz tune. So join me on Monday for that. We'll look at jazz chords, we'll look at finger picking, all sorts of stuff. And then 2 weeks time for your next lesson. I'll have some bits and bobs going up in the next week as well. I've got some videos from Sore Fingers and I'm working on a couple of other new lessons to share with you. So keep in touch, have a look on the website and you'll see what's happening. So brilliant. Thanks, Robin. Take care, everyone. I'll see you again very soon. Get listening with colours. Thanks, guys.